So hello there, welcome to a new video. Today I'm doing my top 10 movies from 2024. Now this is not my stats for Letterboxd, that is coming very soon. I'm about to film that after this. So if you wait for that, don't worry, stay tuned, it's going to be here soon. Today though, I'm doing my top 10 movies from 2024. Straight to the point, I'm not going to mess around. It's 10 of my favorite movies. I'll be honest, the top 5 are pretty much neck and neck. I literally could do them in any order, but we'll get to that when it comes up. But yeah, it is a top 10. There's also, let's just say, some honourable mentions as well. That being said, though, let's go on to my number 10. So in 10th is Speak No Evil. Now, I have not seen the original before I watched this one, and I watched the original. Both are brilliant. Speak No Evil, though, I have to give credit to. It was absolutely wonderful. McAvoy was great. The ending was different to the original, which I kind of appreciated. It was maybe more obvious of an ending, but either way, Speak No Evil, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, the acting was great. It was just a really good movie, and it deserves to be in my 10th. I'm very happy it made it there. In 9th is one I've not heard many people talk about. It's called The Count of Monte Cristo. I think it's French. Apparently it's a well-known story, and yeah, it got remade this year. It was really good. It kind of reminded me of the feeling I had when I first watched Indiana Jones or Mission Impossible. Now, it's not that kind of grand kind of action movie, but it's just really solid, almost Ocean's 11 kind of. It's really hard to explain, and every kind of movie I've just shouted out is going to give you the wrong idea of what it's going to be. Well, I would say it's like a really good version of Pirates of the Caribbean. The story is different, but just that kind of vibe, that kind of grand epicness of it. Yeah, very good. Give it a watch if you haven't seen it, and it could have been higher on this list. In 8th is Dee Dee. Now, this one really hit a nice spot for me. It's very nostalgic, and it's kind of directed at growing up in the early 2000s. It's maybe kind of 5 years too early for my personal relatability, but there's a lot of stuff in it I really did connect with. It's funny. It's very targeted towards that early 2000s, and it was perfect for me. I can see a lot of people rating this lower. For me though, I watched it at the right time, the right moment, and it just kind of hit the spot perfectly. So yeah, Dee Dee. If you want like a nice cozy one, it's kind of similar to Are You There God, It's Me Margaret from last year. It's not your grand movie, it's not your cinema movie, but it hits the spot, and if you're in the mood for it, you can't go wrong. In 7th is Juror number 2. Again, this one, after I see it a second time, this one could be top for me. This one could be first. I love this one. I love any courtroom movie. I love any movie that rolls around like a mystery, and like this was just everything I love rolled into one. The actors are great, the story is good, the character like it did no wrong, and it's just truthfully a movie I can't wait to rewatch. In 6th is called How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies. Now this one, I don't know where its origin is from. I can't remember. It's definitely from Asia, but I can't remember this specific country. But it's kind of got that quality to it that kind of reminds me of when I watched Parasite. It's not quite Parasite level, but it's just kind of like really well made, it's polished. It focuses on this family, and it's just really nice. I don't want to give much away. It mainly follows this grandson, who decides to look after his grandma because of a reason. He has a little scheme going on. As you might guess, so maybe things divert from his original plan, and it just ends up being really cozy, really nice. I could say more. I don't want to. All I'll say is that if you haven't watched it, you need to watch this one. Like this one is Oscar worthy, and that doesn't really much. That doesn't make much sense, but it's just really well done. It's one of those movies you watch and you're like, I can't think of anything I didn't like about the movie. But yeah, I cannot recommend this one more. It's the kind of movie you watch it for the first time, and you just go, wow, that was something special. It was something very special, something heartwarming, and it kind of touches you, and it makes you kind of want to call your family afterwards. But trust me, of all of them so far, it's the one that you haven't seen. You need to go out of your way and watch it right now. Go and watch it today. It's brilliant. In 5th, and this is where things get tight, because any of these could have been my number 1. In 5th is Memoir of a Snail. Now this one, I hadn't seen Mary and Max. It's the same person who's made that. And this one, like even just thinking about talking about this, I don't know where to begin. The animation is great. It's hilarious. It's very sad. It's one I really need to watch again. I'll probably say that about all of the ones I'm about to talk about, but I really don't know where to begin with this. It is one of the best animated films I've seen in a long time. It's probably the best animated film of the year, obviously, because none of my top four are animated films. But I've not seen an animated film that has been this kind of like for adults, if that makes sense. You know, you got your Spider-Mans, you got your, you know, Chico and Rita. I love to shout that one. But none of them are quite to this. This is probably one of the best animated films I've ever seen, actually. Yeah, I can't recommend it more than putting it where I put it. I kind of wish I put it first. I wish I had the balls to put it first. But yeah, it's called Memory of Us Now. If you haven't seen it, you need to go and watch it right now. I don't think you could find an animated movie from the last 5 years that's going to be as good as this. It's just hilarious. With some bits, especially like the opening scene is so dark that it had me laughing just because of how unexpected it was. And yeah, Memory of Us Now. I'm going to repeat myself a lot here for the next couple, but Memory of Us Now, one of the best movies of the year. One of the most, you need to see this movie of the year. And the best animated movie of the year, by far. In fourth is a movie I watched today. It's a very tough one to rate. I need to see it again, honestly. But it's Nosferatu. Now, this one, again, like Memory of Us Now, it could be my number one. Maybe it should be my number one. It's very hard to rate because, like, for example, two of my top three, I haven't seen since March. So it's like, it's hard to remember how much I liked it, if that makes sense. In terms of Nosferatu, though, it's probably one of the best horror movies of the year for me. It's just visually brilliant. Its soundtrack is great. Acting is great. You know, it's a remake of an absolute classic, which is not easy to do, and they've nailed it. It literally couldn't be improved, which is why it's so hard to rate fourth, because it's like, how can it be fourth if it's perfect? In a way, though, it just shows how good the top three are going to be. Even as I'm saying this, a part of me is like, maybe I should just put this first. I don't know, it's really hard to say. But yeah, even as I'm saying this, I really want to put this first. My only worry is that because I've only just seen it, it's like a recency bias thing. I'm going to put it fourth, but a part of me feels awful. Feels awful about it. Saying that, in third is Challengers, which again, could have been first. I kind of want to put that first as well. The top four, I want to put them first. I've seen Challengers. Challengers is the only one on this list I've seen twice, which I think says a lot. There's only one thing I don't like about Challengers, and it's very minor, and it's the ending. I wish there was something extra at the end. And even as I say that, a part of me is like, the ending was fine. You know what I mean? It's a very minor thing I would tweak. Yeah, Challengers is great. It's one of the best sports movies ever made, especially one of the non-true stories sports movies ever made. From start to finish, it's just a filmmaker masterclass, and it was probably, out of all the movies on this list, it's probably the one I've been most hooked by. I've been absolutely like, yeah, Challengers is brilliant. It's a tennis movie, but it's not boring, and it is just three brilliant displays of acting all coming together, and yeah, Challengers, my number three, somehow not number one. Similarly, though, number two is a movie that for the whole year has been number one for me. I think I'm going to regret not putting it number one, and I think it is probably one of the most groundbreaking movies of the last year. Literally, this morning, June was my number one. I mean, I really thought about it, and I was like, which one do I really prefer? And I went with my, what is evidently number one now. But June 2, I don't think there's many movies in the last 10 years which is as good as it. You know what I mean? Like Interstellar, Oppenheimer. There's a couple others in there, like After Sun for me personally. But realistically, it's one of the best movies of the last 10 years. And, soundtrack, cinematography, acting, there's nothing that stops it from being number one for me. The only thing maybe is the fact it's like, the story's not quite finished. I at no point when I finished the movie did I feel unsatisfied. But apparently I'm like, I think the third movie will decide how much I love the first two. It completes it, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But for me, June 2 should have been number one. I really wish I had put it number one, but I've not gone for June 2 as my best movie of the year. Before I do say my number one, which you probably already worked out what it is, because I feel like it's everyone's number one. Let me give some shout outs, some honorable mentions. We got Bird, which I watched today as well. That was really good. Mild Ass, I absolutely loved. Thought it was hilarious. Oddity was probably my second or third favorite horror of the year. That I've not heard many people talk about that one. That one was lovely. Obviously, Wallace and Gromit, like, that's obvious. Love's Lace Bleeding probably was my number 11. Thelma, Kneecap, Snack Shack. Also, probably one called Caddo Lake was really, really nice. And I'm probably most excited to rewatch that one out of any on this list. And also, one called It's What's Inside, I thought was going to be awful. I actually enjoyed that. So, yeah. So, having said that, though, my number one is obviously The Substance, right? Let's just be honest. That is a crazy movie. I think the shock value in that, and also because I had no idea what it was going to be before going into it, is what's kind of got it over the line for me and made it my number one. Like I said, though, Dune, Challengers, Nosferatu could have all been the top spot. And after I see them again, it probably will be the top spot, one of them. But right now, Substance is next to none. Like, nothing has blown me away more than when I saw Substance. And it reminds me a little bit of when Saltburn came out. Everyone was like, you have to go and see Saltburn. It's that kind of thing where it's like, it's such a talking point and such like a distinctive watch that it just gets you. It deserves it. It does deserve being that top spot for me. But yeah, that was my best movies of 2024. Let me know what yours were. I'm sure I've missed loads. I've seen, by the way, 110. I've seen 110 that's released in 2024, so I'm very happy about that. That's a good number for me. I probably could have done more, but I'm filming this a bit before New Year's Eve, so you know. But I'm happy I got Nosferatu in. I managed to get that in there, luckily. And yeah, that was my list. I've not really had any big ones that I've missed out. Well, you know, if we're talking the stinkiest ones, Madam Web's up there, Uglies is up there, Space Cadet's up there, and also Dear Santa was also pretty awful. But yeah, that has been my first of the year. Thank you for watching. The Letterboxd stats is coming soon. I've been James. I'll see you next time. Bye.